7 rappers who scammed their fans. Have you ever heard of the concept of a parasocial relationship? It's basically when someone develops a relationship with another person without them ever knowing about it. People do this with celebrities all the time, and they definitely do it with rappers. Hip-hop fans, whether they'll admit it or not, feel like they actually know their favorite rappers. That's what happens when you spend so much time listening to someone's music and following their lives on social media. This leads fans to think that rappers have their best interests at heart. Sometimes this is true. There are definitely rappers out there who genuinely love their fans and will do anything for them. But then there are other rappers out there who don't really treat their fans with that same level of respect. In fact, there are plenty of rappers who have scammed their fans before. Let this be a lesson to all of you out there. Don't trust someone just because you like their music. They might just let you down. Before I get into that though, please make sure to like this video and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It helps a lot. Now, here are 7 rappers who have scammed their fans. Number 7, Gunna. In general, Gunna seems like a pretty nice guy, and at the end of the day, this scam was less due to him and more due to his team having a disagreement with an artist. But with that being said, the story definitely doesn't show Gunna in a good light. It's a bit complicated, but let's just jump right into it. In early 2020, an artist named Thomas A. DeLeon took to Twitter to air some of his grievances after working with Gunna. He was contracted by someone from Gunna's team to draw up some anime-inspired clips to be used in a music video. He quickly got to work, but the demands from the team kept changing, forcing the artist to consistently make alterations to his work. He eventually got good feedback and then started to wait for payment. And then things started to go south. He got 50% of his fee, but then the team decided that his work actually looked unfinished, so they weren't gonna pay him the rest. He then got into an argument with another person on the team, and the whole deal fell apart, causing all of his work to be for nothing. It's not even like he was asking for money either, only a few $100s. At least he got the final word on Twitter. Number 6, Lil Uzi Vert. If there's any mainstream rapper out there that's really known for being kind to his fans, it's Lil Uzi. He regularly poses with anyone he meets out on the street, there are videos of him freestyling with random kids, and he even agreed to pay a fan's college tuition because he simply asked. There's no doubt as to whether or not Uzi loves his fan base or not. But then again, maybe I'm only saying that because we've all moved on from the dark time that was the rollout for Eternal Atake, the album that was famously teased for years before dropping, and Uzi developed a pretty severe habit of lying about its release date. He famously said that the album was done at Rolling Loud 2019, and it definitely wasn't. He also said the same thing in late 2018. But that's not all. About a month after Rolling Loud, Uzi said that the album would drop in 2 weeks. It did not. For fans, the cycle of getting their hopes up only to have them come crashing down was never ending until Uzi randomly dropped Eternal Atake in March of 2020. And while he didn't scam any fans out of money, they were understandably quite upset with him after each lie. Hopefully the Forever Young rollout isn't quite so painful. Number 5, Young Thug. Rap concerts are a bit of a controversial topic. Some people love the energy, while others criticize certain artists for simply mouthing along with the song in the background. No matter how you feel though, you can agree it's not a good look for a rapper to just skip out on a show. And sadly, that's exactly what Young Thug did. Actually, scratch that, Young Thug has done this twice. One time was in November of 2016 when he failed to appear at a show in Virginia because he missed his flight. Annoying for the fans, but hey, fair enough. The other time was actually in August of 2016 when he was scheduled to perform in front of a big crowd at the Rock Summer Explosion. He never showed up and he had no good explanation. Fans were really upset that they paid good money for tickets that ended up being useless. But it wasn't only his fans that felt scammed. The people who organized the event claimed that they lost hundreds of thousands of dollars because of Thug skipping out. They ended up suing him for $360,000. There are other stories of Thug being late to concerts, so be mindful of his track record if you ever have the chance to see the YSL rapper live. Number 4, J. Cole. There are a lot of horror stories out there when it comes to rap merch. Items often get lost in the mail or just never show up, and fans can get understandably frustrated fast. But out of all the rappers in the world to scam their fans on merch, you would think that J. Cole would be the last. He's known for being down to earth and super humble, so the fact that fans have accused him of ripping them off is super surprising. This story starts way back in April of 2018. A fan ordered a signed vinyl copy of Cole's album KOD and eagerly waited for it to come in the mail. And they waited. And they waited. And they waited. Fast forward mid-2019 and the fan had still not received their vinyl. They had received multiple emails from the company saying that even they weren't sure when they would have the merchandise on hand and ready to ship. Wait a second, does that mean that Cole's team sold signed vinyls without even having them? Yup. Multiple other fans also reported never receiving a record for more than a year, and unfortunately it doesn't look like the trend will be ending anytime soon. Anyone who purchased merch recently from Cole also reports that they've been waiting for quite some time. Get your stuff together, Dreamville! Number 3, Soulja Boy. In case you haven't heard, there's a lot of things that Soulja Boy did first. Some of those claims are pretty impressive, others are less so. This scam definitely falls into the latter category. I'm talking about the time that Soulja Boy made his own video game system. Well, I guess made is a bit of a stretch. Back in 2018, Soulja Boy came out of nowhere and announced that he was going to be releasing 2 video game systems, one home console and one handheld. He actually went through with it and came out with the Soulja Game Console and the Soulja Game Handheld. How was it a scam, you ask? Rather than making his own system from scratch, Soulja just bought thousands of off-brand consoles, repackaged them, and marked them up massively. That means you can get the exact system that Soulja was selling for much less. Although you wouldn't get to claim that you had a Soulja Boy console, which kinda defeats the whole point. They were overpriced, and on top of that, they could only play bootlegged games. There were no games that were actually made for the console. I wanna hate on him for this, but honestly, it's so funny that I have a hard time staying mad about it. Number 2, MF Doom. MF Doom is, without a doubt, one of the most important rappers of our time. He has influenced all of your favorites, and his legacy is only going to grow stronger over the years now that he's passed. Part of that is the fact that he led such a mysterious life. He was really committed to the supervillain persona that he had created, and that led to him being way more intriguing than your average rapper. But it also led to some fans being pretty angry. Here's why. We all know that MF Doom would always wear a mask to play into some character that he had made for himself. But did you also know that he sometimes used the mask to dodge performances? That's right. There were several times when MF Doom was scheduled to perform and fans were bewildered and disappointed to see someone else donning the mask come out in his place. In Doom's eyes, this made a ton of sense. The whole concept behind MF Doom's persona was based around anonymity, so sending out an imposter to perform in his stead was something that just fit into his whole thing. But to the fans who paid good money and stood in line to see him, they weren't really into the conceptual art side of things. They just wanted to see Doom rap. And in that sense, they were more or less scammed. But at least they'll always have the bragging rights of seeing the imposter Doom in the flesh. That's kinda cool. Number 1, The Game. Okay, we've seen some pretty nasty scams so far. We've seen artists not showing up to concerts, artists never sending merch, and even artists straight up lying to their fans. But out of all of these, this one might just be the worst. At the very least, it's the biggest scam in terms of monetary value out of this list for sure. This one's kinda weird, so bear with me. Back in 2017, The Game announced that he was going to be touring in Australia. He was set to play in 7 different cities, and a lot of people were hyped for it. The whole thing was set to go forward. Fans were lining up to get tickets, and The Game was hammering out all the details. And then, suddenly, he pulled out of the tour. According to details being released now, The Game decided to drop the concert series because he wouldn't budge on a few extra details he added to the deal after the fact. He raised his per-show price and even demanded $3 million to shoot a documentary about the tour. The promotion company never agreed to these terms, so he didn't have any legal reason to quit out when they refused to give him the extra money. He's now facing a heavy lawsuit over the whole thing, and it's not looking good. Failing to appear at one show is bad enough, but dropping out of an entire concert series? Wow. So which of these scams do you think was the worst? Let me know in the comments, and before you leave, don't forget to click that like button and subscribe to the channel.